Oh. Oh, yeah. Just kind of left this open to the elements, didn't I? Well, let's just go ahead and make some bricks and get started on building some stuff. All right, welcome back to Writer Wednesday. Yes, I hit record. Oh. So, weird, you know how sometimes just random things will pop up multiple times in like a week? Or like you start noticing something and then all of a sudden you notice it multiple times, it's just kind of everywhere. I'm sure that's called something. But anyway, so twice this week I have come across a factoid where it's if you do something for 10 years, you'll be good at it, right? Or it was like the 10,000 hour rule or something. Anyway, it was an article that I found that it was on like Jane Friedman's blog or something. It was connected to her, like she shared it or something, I don't know. But anyway, it was about like that 10,000 hour rule, and if you spent 10,000 hours writing, you'd make it or something. But anyway, then I watch that Brandon Sanderson's lecture on writing, and he also brings up this 10-year scenario. And he didn't quite say it in the same way that the blog post did. Or it was a blog post, but it was referencing a book, like a self-help book. And in Brandon Sanderson, his lecture, that was kind of the amount of time given or suggested that if you spend 10 years doing something, 10 years, like in this instance, 10 years writing and working on your writing, then you'll be good at it, or you'll make it, or something like that. And I don't know why it just has come up twice now, but I started writing in 2015. I self-published my first book in 2016. So technically, 2025, that is 10 years. I have been writing seriously, continuously, with the goal of getting published with having full-time writer level success so that I can become a full-time writer for 10 years now. This is year 10. So, according to both of these things, this is the year that I should statistically succeed. Fingers crossed, everyone, fingers crossed. It's just so wild to me that I have seen this number twice and it just happens to be 10 years that since I've started writing. Like, is that a sign? Is the universe giving me a sign that this is the year that it's going to happen? That this is the year that I'm going to go viral or something and I'm going to slam bam into like freakish writer success? Move over Rebecca Yarrow. Here comes BB Morgan. Is that what's going to happen? Maybe. And I don't want to jinx it, but I do have 2 full manuscripts out right now. Knock on wood. Is that where it's gonna come from? Is that gonna go anywhere? Is one of the agents the agent for me? I don't know. But it's super weird that I've seen the statistic. Oh, it's weird that Birch was all lit up. It's fine. I'm sure it's very normal. But it's just weird that I've seen this I've seen this statistic twice now. And like my superstitious brain that also believes ghost stories just doesn't want to think it's nothing. And I really want to think like, oh, maybe this is the year. Maybe one of those agents is the agent for me. Maybe this is the year that my books will just hit that certain audience on social media and will just explode and catapult me into indie author fame. At the same time, it feels very similar to the kind of excitement you get when you throw your query at an agent, you know? And you're like, oh no, this is going to be the one. And then it isn't. And then you're depressed for a week. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up for the inevitable rejection. You know what I mean? Because am I just seeing faces in the clouds, you know? And I would love for, my career to explode. That would be fantastic if I could just, be a full-time writer and stay at home and do all those things. Or even if it's not necessarily like full-time writer, but like successful enough that like I make my money back, I make success on my books, that I'm not just, throwing money at marketing. Because I don't know if I want like fame or fortune more. I don't know where I'm going with this. But this tree gots to go. Where is there an axolotl? Never mind. No, I have like a weird little aquarium and I had one in a bucket and I just kind of dumped it in there. Yeah, sure, okay. I didn't get any coal when I stopped. Okay, no, I'm gonna play in the dark game. I'm gonna go get some coal. See, from the side, you can tell how unfinished it is. It doesn't look as cool. But it's just strange that I've seen that statistic twice, and I don't know if it's because Brandon Sanderson read like the same article I read. I didn't think those candles were on for a minute. Like maybe we all read the same article, and so we were all in the same, pipeline mindset, and so everyone's using the same analogy of, 10 years and your career will take off. Didn't get any coal. Make all this ugly acacia wood into torches. Oops. Whoops. Oh, that was close. Almost took my ankles off. Whee! There we go. But I don't want to think it's nothing. Like, I want it to be something. But that cynical part of my brain is, giving the suggestions of, oh no, we all read the same article. Don't get your hopes up. And I know I probably shouldn't, because odds are those manuscript requests are going to come back as rejections. And I know it just takes one agent to turn that string of bad luck around. But then again, what if it's the wrong agent? What if they're not a good agent? What if they're, not looking out for me and my best interest? What if they're more of a shark than an agent? Those types of things. I'm also worried about that because I've been watching more like agent vlogs and blogs and YouTube channels, and where they just talk about like the agent side of a business and what it's like to be an agent. And maybe that's what I want to do with my living, because I want to work with books, all right? I don't want to work with people anymore. I want to work with books. And if I become a literary agent, I can work with books and authors and editors. And I think that would be fun. Hard work, yes, but if it's enjoyable work, I think that's fine. Whee! Because this is what I've been kind of dwelling on for the past week, of how, like in my last writer Wednesday, I mentioned like Brandon Sanderson had said in his video that he enjoys the busy work of writing more than any other job that he's ever had, like more than the busy work of any other job. And that's me. Like that is me to a T. I love the busy work of writing, and I want to do that for a living. I love it. It's not work. Like I can sit down and start working on a book, and 6 hours have flown by and I have no idea where they went. Like that's the kind of work that I want. And I don't know how to make that a reality. I don't know how to make that my job without like offering services as a book editor, like a freelance editor. But I don't know if I'm a good editor or if I'm like I have like the skill set needed for that type of thing. Like I want to be the creative. I want to be the author. I want to work with books. I want to publish my books. Like that's my dream. That is the long-term goal. That is what I want. And I don't know how to get to it. Because so many authors don't hit that level of I can't speak today. I'm sorry. Because so many authors don't hit that level of success. Oh my word. I need to go to the doctor for my slurring. And I mean, I'm still holding out hope that like, it's the hearing about the 10-year rule multiple times is just like God's way of telling me like, hey, get ready. This is your year. Or if it's just me seeing signs where there aren't any, like, going into a haunted house looking for ghosts, you're going to find them everywhere. And I was thinking today while I was at my day job, how many more books could I write if I had 8 hours a day to work on books? Like if I didn't have a day job, right, and I could sit home and comfortably write, I could get so many more things done. I could get so many more books read. My TBR would be huge, but I would be reading more. And like, as part of being an author, you gotta love books. You gotta read books to see what's out there. Because I've had like a very rough idea of a contemporary horror, like ghost hunter kind of story that I just haven't had the mindset to sit down and work anything with. But that's something I would like to explore eventually when I have time and brain power. And if I had the time to do so, I might be able to get it done. But as of right now, the day job and other day job are taking up all of my brain space. But I am keeping out hope. I am holding out hope that I'm going to see this 10-year rule is going to pop up somewhere else, right? And that's going to be number 3. That's the rule of 3. That means it's a fact. That means it will happen. That's a scientific fact. Look that up. Don't tell me that you look it up. Just don't question it. And I haven't had the brain space or time this past week or two to really sit down with my work in progress, or pick a new project out to work on, because all of my free time and all my excess brain power has been going to prepping for class and getting things ready, because I am really doing everything from scratch and trying to figure out how to teach a class. And it's exhausting, I will say, because it's a different kind of stress that I'm not used to, and I don't know quite how to handle it. Of course, this week it's much better than it was initially, where I was so stressed out that I couldn't sleep or eat. Yeah, it was one of those. Because in the lecture, and this really started when Brandon Sanderson gave the comparison of how he could sit down and work on a book and he would have no idea where the time went. And that's the same way I am. I can sit down and start working on a book and not know where the time went. And that is what I want in my career. I want a job that I enjoy so much that it's not work. And books are that for me. I want to work with books. I want to publish books. I want to write books. And I wouldn't mind, maybe, if I was able to do full-time writing, edit books, help other authors get their books out there into life. But until I make enough money with my books that is even remotely a possibility, I don't know. And I know somewhere out there's probably someone saying, well, just quit your job and work from, start writing full time. I have bills, okay? And I have health insurance through my job. And marketing costs money. So does gas, electricity, and internet, and books. And sure, I could attempt to, quit my job and attempt to be a full-time writer. But I want that. And, make that gamble that, within like a year I can be successful. But that's not I don't want to. Because I don't like that risk. Because here's the thing, like, odds are that's probably not going to work out. Why don't I put a staircase here too? That sounds like a good plan. That way I have a way to get up here. There we go. Because I know there are probably some people that did that and it worked out just fine for them. But odds are that's not going to work out for me. Because I have a book coming out this year sometime. Again, we're taking a leisurely approach, so don't really have like a deadline or anything. We have a meeting coming up, but we'll probably talk about it then. But as for right now, I mean, it's not really on the books, like on the calendar. It might be, actually. I actually don't know. I haven't looked at the calendar in a hot minute. And I know if I keep at it, statistically, my odds of being a successful writer go up with every book that I write, in every book that I publish, in every book that I query. But I think I want it now. I want to be able to write full time now. I think that's what it is. And it's just not happening as quickly as I would like it to. I guess we can make this like a floor. Yeah, it's good enough. This castle really doesn't have any... Well, that's not what I wanted. Set path. I'm just building to calm myself. And there's always that part of me that... I don't know if maybe it's just that pessimistic, there we go, like point of view or worldview that's kind of leaking through. Because I try to stay optimistic as much as I can. But it's that, everyone is trying to do the exact same thing I am. There's so many authors who are extremely talented and hardworking and persistent who are trying to do the exact same thing I am. And sometimes it feels like the books that get blessed with that kind of success and just burst into social media and suddenly they're everywhere. Like, some of them don't feel any better or worse than the things that I'm writing. And I'm like, my book could do this. My book could, be the next Fourth Wing. I could do that. I spit. I don't know if you saw that, but I spit a little bit and went, probably on my keyboard. Sorry. But then there are some books that I read that are so awesome. And I'm like, my book could never do this. And like the ones that are no better or worse than my book, I just really want to be like, why did they get picked by the book gods? Why not mine? Why didn't mine get chosen by the algorithm to be seen by everybody? And I know part of it is because, it's older and I didn't have a good hook. And, excuse me. And I'm hoping that my knowledge being better than it was when I self-published, when I published, or when we published as a group, Stars and Bones, that my next book will have a better chance of making it big. Because every book that I've done since then has been, in that series. So I'm hoping that by, breaking out of that series and publishing something new, something that's more romantic-y. Because Stars and Bones has romance in it, but it's really more fantasy with a little bit of romance splashed in. Like, you might consider it a romantasy to some extent. Like, it's fantasy first, romance second. Because if you take the romance out of it, there's still a book. So, it's fantasy first. But, like, this book that's coming out this year, my Vampire Fae romance, fantasy romance, if you take the romance out of it, it loses a lot of the plot. So that's why I'm calling it a romantasy. Because it is equally as important to the plot as the plot. And I don't have any social media drama to report on. I haven't been on social media as much as I used to be. I mean, I'm still on there. I'm just not as actively looking for things. Because back when I was on TikTok a lot more, there was always some kind of stupid drama happening. But I haven't... Did I put my good bow up? Got him. I haven't been on TikTok much in the past several days. Not the past several days, past several months. I really haven't been on TikTok voraciously since like November, end of December, because it was stressing me out. It was raising my stress level. It was distracting me. So I'm just like, I'm done. And then like they were gonna, cancel it or whatever. So I was like, I might as well just cut myself off now while I can. And I did. And I really haven't been on it since then. Like I haven't made any book content. I'm just, I don't know, taking a break, trying to be more leisurely about how I go about things, trying to stay out of just all like the just constant drama. Somebody's causing drama, somebody said something and somebody else is taking it as just the most grievous insult to man. Like there was one, it's been a while ago, where somebody made the comment that they will skip like parts of like books, like parts of like descriptions and like world building aspects, like just big long chunky paragraphs, and just skip to like the dialogue. And someone else just had a come apart that someone wasn't reading every single word of a book and only reading the dialogue. How dare they? Are they even reading? They can't count their stuff in Goodreads if they do that. They're not actually reading. Calm the F down, okay? I can't with these kind of people. Let people read how they want to read. If they want to skip all the stuff and just read the dialogue, let them skip all the stuff and read the dialogue. It is none of your business how someone else reads a book or why they read books or what they want to read. Calm down. Like, I guess I just don't understand. And a part of me understands that they're doing this for attention. They want their channel to get more attention, so they're causing drama where there be no drama. And those kinds of people, I really just want to block and move on. Be like, get out of my life. I don't need you in it. I'm trying to live a drama-free life over here. I think I took all the stuff out. Okay, so no, hold on. Let me get all the useless blocks out of here and just use them to build up this little hole. Like, I don't need Harry Potter levels of fame. Would honestly rather not. That's a lot. But like Rebecca Ross levels of fame, that sounds fun. Or I would really like to be the kind of famous where I don't have to be on social media anymore. Where I can just publish my books and my fan base is big enough, they just buy them. Like, I don't have to go tell people about them. My fan base is ready. They're there. That is what I want. Because, social media is exhausting. Like, I have to push myself to be on social media. Like, I have to, like, every time I open Threads, I'm like, okay, I can make a post, but then I have to go find 7 posts to comment on. Things like that. And then I'll go to, like, my following tab and be like, okay, I have to comment on X number of people's posts while I'm here. Because it's just not, I'm not a social media person. It's not something that I do because I enjoy it. I am there because it's a necessary evil in order to get my books out in the world and to get people to notice me. And yes, making author friends is fun. I do enjoy that aspect. But I have been in the position before where you make so-called writer friends and they just want to use you for more publicity for themselves. And so I'm always real wary of like making writer friends. I'm not saying that you can't make genuine friends online. That's not what I'm saying at all. Clearly you can. And I am also horrible at making friends. I'm horrible at it. It's one of my least capable skill sets. Unless they're weird. Like, I can make friends with weird people. Like, we had a new girl start at work. It's been several months ago. She's been there a while. But she walked in one day and she had a book in her arm. And of course, me, I'm trying to see what book she's reading. And it's A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm like, we started talking about books because I pointed it out. And it was just one of those moments where every time I walk into like the room where she's at, we talk about whatever book she's reading or whatever I'm reading. And it's just, we're friends now. We are friends now. I'm not sure what her last name is, but we're friends now. Same with, we had a nurse that started. It's been a year or so ago. She also, like, was reading, what was it that I saw she was reading? It wasn't ACOTAR. It was something else. What was it, ACOTAR? She read the Throne of Glass series, but she read that after she read ACOTAR. Because she asked me if I did the tandem read, and I said no, I just read them in order that they came out. I was gonna ask her how that went. I completely forgot about it. Ugh, bad friend. But maybe it was Fourth Wing that I saw her reading, and I was like, oh, new friend. Because I also really enjoyed Fourth Wing. There was a nurse upstairs that I saw her with the book too, and I was like, or no, she had Iron Flame like right after it came out, because we were talking in the break room last week about how Onyx Storm was coming out this week, and we had both like pre-ordered it. We were always so excited when it to show up. Speaking of, mine should be here next Monday. No, not next Monday. This coming Monday, because I had pre-ordered the fancy sprayed edges, and I didn't think it was going to be here like the day it came out. I highly doubted that of my delivery service, but that's fine because I am not done with the book that I've been reading for a while. I have 2 physical books that I'm reading. I have, wait, hold on, it's real close. I have Pillar of Ash by H.M. Long. This is book 4 in the 4 Pillar series, and despite the due date card, this is not a library book. This is just a library card that I still have from when I worked in the library. I don't remember actively stealing it. I probably just had it and left it at home and took it back, and I found it. I'm like, I'll keep this as a memento of my favorite job. And then I'm reading For the Throne, which is the book 2 in the duology. Book 1 was For the Wolf, like a Beauty and the Beast Red Riding Hood retelling. It was good. However, I do have a complaint of that series, and that is I can't listen to it on audiobook, because I kind of noticed it when I was reading it, but I really noticed it when I was trying to listen to the audiobook of book 2, where I think it's just a writing style that just makes it so difficult for my brain to understand what's being said. Because, like, this book especially, there's so many random capitalized words in the text that it almost doesn't make sense if you're listening to it. And because I stopped listening to the audiobook because I was listening to it on Spotify, so I didn't buy it. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm just gonna read the book that I have already bought that is sitting on my shelf. And I'm not really enjoying book 2 as much as I was book 1. I mean, the sisters are very similar to each other. Like, they have very similar personalities. But the writing itself is just a little too descriptive, maybe. Like, Hannah Witten wrote these, and she wrote The Foxglove King, which I loved it, which is why I decided to read these next. I don't like them as much, and I think it's just like a writing style. I mean, they're good books. I'm pretty sure I rated For the Wolf 5 stars, but there's just something about the writing that I can't quite put my finger on. It's either like too much descriptive, like trying too hard to like make the setting like feel, like trying to give like a feeling to like the setting and using like fragmented sentences to do so. But the other one was like that too, and it didn't bother me, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I will probably finish it, but I'm really close to being done with Pillar of Ash. I'm real close, and you can tell. Like, I've got less than 100 pages left. And I also really like those books. And like I've read all 4 of them. But I've been actively reading this one for like 6 months maybe? 6 months maybe? And I really like the books. I really like H.M. Long's like writing style, and I don't know why it has taken me so long to read these books. I genuinely I don't really know. No. Oh, I made it. I didn't think I was going to make it. But I've been in the mood for like more of like a spooky mood recently, and I've only just gotten back into like the high fantasy like mood. But I'm more so in like a high fantasy romantasy mood, and H.M. Long does not write romance. There's not very little, there's no romance in either of the books or any of the books in this series, which is fine. They're still really good books. They're all 5-star reads for me. I've been wanting more like folkloric horror, like the twisted ones, and I'm reading right now the ebook for what is it? House with Good Bones, by T. Kingfisher. I'm really enjoying it so far because it's got that folkloric, something spooky's going on, but not outright like gore and nasty. And part of like my goals for 2025 was to read more books, and especially to like listen to more audiobooks. And I finished one audiobook that I've been listening to for a while, Final Girls by Riley Sager. The second Riley Sager book that I've read, and I also really enjoyed that one. So, and I've learned, I think, that I like listening to like thrillers and mysteries a little bit more than I like listening to fantasy. Because, for example, like the Throne book, there's just so many like randomly capitalized words or just more world building to get through, and I can read something twice if it doesn't quite make sense at first. Versus like a thriller, I can just dissolve into like the way the story is written, like the way the genre is delivered. It's easier to get through an audiobook, if that makes sense. Well, I don't really have anything else to say. So, yep, I think that's going to be it for this Writer Wednesday. It just struck me that I could call this series Writercraft. It's fine, whatever. If you enjoyed Writer Wednesday here with me, feel free to describe. Just feel free to describe. I need to go to bed.